Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Midgard Golf. And we're back out here today, still in the Portland, Oregon area, specifically in Aloha, Oregon, playing one of my favorite playing at one of my favorite venues, I should say. This is the first time I've played this particular course, but anyway, I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, out here at the Reserve Vinyards and Golf Club. Absolutely beautiful property. The whole area, I mean, just everything they got out there is absolutely top notch. So it's a real honor to get to bring you this content today. And yeah, a heck of a round for me out here to showcase for you. So yeah, there's actually two courses out here. I'm playing the South course today. And I've actually played the North course before, a long time ago, before I started vlogging rounds. So yeah, one of these days I'll have to get back out there and do the North course for you as well, and actually present that up on the channel because it's absolutely beautiful as well. They say that the South course is about 4 strokes more difficult than the North course, so you're getting to see the more challenging side of it. And I love the way that they do business out here. So it's kind of like half private, half public out here at the Reserve. But what they do is every 2 weeks they flip which side is private and which side is public. So yeah, if if you're a member out there, then you get to kind of have one course all to your lonesome for half the month, and then so that you don't get bored, the other half of the month you got the other course. And if you're not a member, then it's just flip-flop of that for whatever their schedule is so far as course flipping for public and private. So everyone gets to experience both courses. You just got to hit it at the right time of the month. So anyway, yeah, really cool way that they do it out there. I absolutely love that. I wish more properties that had 2 courses would do it just that way. Especially Pumpkin Ridge, so that everyone could see Witch's Hollow out there and not just Ghost Creek. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, if you're liking this content, please remember to throw us a like and subscribe. I'm only, just like 15 subscribers away as I'm recording this right now from doing another hat giveaway. And every 100 subscribers, we do a hat giveaway. So you'll have a bunch of chances at one. And they are branded Bills hats, and I don't sell them. So the only 2 ways to get a Midgard Golf hat, and it's like the Pro Elite Series hat. So it's like one of the highest quality hats that they make. Really cool. But anyway, yeah, the only 2 ways to get one is to either win one of those hat giveaways or to be featured in a round on the channel. So pretty exclusive hat indeed. All right, without further ado here, let's get to this first hole. And we're playing it from 2 up. That's the tan tees. So this first hole, pretty stock standard par 4, playing for us at 338 yards and tipping out at 381. So pretty straight away hole, and you've got a whole lot of rough to miss off to the right there. Not a whole lot of tree trouble, just 2 kind of lone trees that come up short and way off to the right, so you really don't have to worry about that. I would really avoid missing too hard to the left, as, well, you might find yourself in that big old grouping of trees, and if you pass those, then probably in one of the parking lots over there. So really don't want to do that. Favor missing to the right. That said, you've got 3 bunkers to deal with here. One's kind of right in the middle and to the right in the fairway that comes up pretty short here. Most hitters should be able to clear that pretty easily. And then you've got another smaller one off to the right side of the fairway that's off the fairway. And then another one about 50 yards further down the fairway to the left. And that's all the bunker trouble that you're going to have to worry about on this hole here. So, yeah, for me, I'm seeing all that room out to the right, grabbing up the D-stick, and I'm kind of hitting to the fade side still at the moment. So, good news for me. I'm just going to grip it and rip it and try to send it down this fairway, and if not, miss right. So, let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the second hole in our first par 3 of the day here. Playing for us at 169 yards and tipping out at 205, so pretty modestly healthy, I'd say. And kind of what you see is what you get. You've got a healthy amount of room to miss left or right, so I really wouldn't worry about that too much. Although if you do miss to the right and you get kind of the distance right, then fair chance that you're going to end up in that big old bunker up over there. Although, yeah, not all that terrible of a bunker to be in, unless you happen to get all the way to the right side of it, and then that's just going to be a whole lot of bunker to clear in order to get it up on this rather sizable green. Short left is obviously bad too, as you'll end up in that bunker, but if you get the distance right and then you kind of pull it from there, then yeah, you'll have a nice bit of kind of rough length grass to hit your chip shot from over there. So yeah, I mean, for me, hitting cuts, I mean, I'm just kind of taking dead aim at the green here and taking a swing that would kind of pronounce a right side miss, since that's the only kind of fairway length grass that you have leading up to this green. So I have the 9-iron in hand. Let's give it a rip and see if I can't jack one up there and stab this green. Let's check it out. Alright, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the third hole and our first par 5 of the day here. So, yeah, playing for us at 482 yards and tipping out at 559. Pretty modest par 5 here. Nothing too extreme about it, I'd say. And so far as how the hole plays here, so it's a kind of a slight dog leg left here, but you've got adjacent fairway over there off to the right where, yeah, if you do happen to carve one out there, then you might find yourself in just the 6th hole fairway. So nothing wrong with missing to the right off of this tee box here. Obviously you do want to draw, though, to shave some yardage off of this hole and give yourself the best chance to get on in 2. However, you're probably looking out at that tree line there, saying, oh boy, but if I do hit a draw and I overdraw too much, then I definitely don't want to be flirting with those trees. Well, some intel for you here. So right after kind of that bushy tree that you can see out in the distance off to the left there, if you can fly that, then the fairway does open quite a bit to the left. So as long as you get enough distance to cover that yardage there, whatever that is, so I might advise lasering that tree if you've got a laser rangefinder. and determining whether or not you can carry that distance, or a healthy bit more than that, really. And if you can, then yeah, you should probably take that risk line there and kind of aim at that furthest left bunker that will be in your view here, and then maybe have a slight draw off of that. If you tend to have a heavier draw, then maybe the bunker just next to it to the right that kind of separates the 3rd and 6th holes, and then draw it off that. So yeah, those are your options there. But yeah, if you watch this video with the intent of going out and playing this course, just know that yeah, you've got more room than you think to the left, but you do have to make the distance in order to give yourself that reprieve. So let's see here, and then of course there's those 2 bunkers that you can see right out there. They're right in the middle of the fairway, basically. And then as you make your way to the green, you've got another bunker that's about 75 yards or so short of the green off to the right side of the narrowed up fairway. And then just forward of that, about 25 yards or so off to the left side of the fairway, is another pretty sizable bunker. And as you approach the green itself, you've got another bunker that'll be right there off to the kind of front right of the green. You don't want to end in that one, that's for sure. That is, yeah, that would be quite the awkward sort of greenside bunker shot, if you can even call it that, because that's quite a bit of distance to make there. There is another bunker that's off to the front left, and if you happen to get in that one, then no worries. Should be a pretty easy attempt at a sandy from there. So I am just looking at all of that room that I have off to the right, and I'm saying, yep, utilize that, hit a cutout there. So, because I didn't realize how much the hole opens up off to the left, so I did not want to flirt with that myself. So, yep, driver in hand, let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 4th hole. Gotta love to see a birdie on a par 5 like that. Just love it. But yeah, so this next hole here, just your stock standard par 4 for us here, playing for us at 330 yards and tipping out at 377. So, yep, no worries about that. And it's a slight dog leg right, so that's good news for me. And yeah, the only direction you really don't want to miss is off there to the left, and end up kind of somewhere in that shaggy grass off to the left side of the cart path, or just kind of have a weird angle up onto this green. Everything about this hole kind of promotes a right side miss, with the exception of that one bunker that you have over there off to the right. That would be unfortunate if you get in that. But so long as you pound one down there and clear that, which shouldn't be a problem for most players, I would think. That's about halfway down the fairway. Then, you should be A-OK. Once you get up to the green, you've got a couple of bunkers there, one off to the left and one off to the right side of the green. And that's about it. When you do get up to the green, obviously, with that big old backdrop of giant trees, I would say definitely don't miss long. If you're going to miss the green on your second shot, miss short. For the love of God. So, anyway. Driver in hand, I'm just going for the cut, so let's give it a rip and see what we can do. Alright, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the fifth hole, and a very short par 4 for us here indeed. Playing for us at 275 yards and tipping out at only 337. So pretty drivable for just about anybody, I would think there. So if you're playing from the tips, then you should have 337 in the bag on a day. So, yeah. I mean, I guess that's a tall order, even for somebody playing from the tips. So maybe not that drivable from the tips, but certainly it is for us. And so drivable that I can't even hit driver. Because if I nut driver, then I'm just going to go straight over this green. And there's really no reason for that. Especially with all of those big old dark, looming, scary trees behind the green there. Definitely don't want to be up in those. So I'm actually taking the 2-iron at this, but make no mistake, my intent is to try to drive this green anyway with that. So don't think that just because I'm busting out an iron that I'm trying to lay up. Oh no, I'm certainly trying to go for the green. But 275 is about kind of the upper end of what I would expect for a 2-iron. Not really upper end, I mean kind of middle end, but anyway, that's what I'm going for here. So don't think that I'm just pussing out on this for no reason. That said, though, there is a whole lot of sand treachery on this hole here. You've got 5 bunkers to deal with here. One of them nice and short there that should be easily clearable for most players out here, off to the right side of the fairway, in the middle of the fairway to the right of it. And then as you work your way down the fairway, it kind of narrows up real quick on you. And you've got 2 bunkers about halfway down the fairway, or a little over halfway down off to the left. And then one more lateral to that choke point off to the right. And as you make your way to the green, you've got another one kind of behind and to the left of the green. It's weird. It's a double green. It's a shared green with the third hole there. So anyway, yeah, there's that. There's that bunker, the same bunker that played on the third hole is the bunker that I'm talking about now. But anyway, hopefully you don't end up in that. You might be shaking hands with the people that are playing number 3 if somebody on that hole happens to get in it as well, since that bunker really plays more on the third hole than it does this one, I would say. But anyway, so like I said, 2 iron in hand. I'm trying to roast it and get after this green, man. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 6th hole and the second and final par 5 for this front 9 and this first part of our 2-part series out here playing the South Course at the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club. So anyway, number 1 handicap. Anytime a number 1 handicap is a par 5 on a course like this, you know it's going to be a doozy. So, yeah, and it certainly is. So, off the tee, though, not all that scary. So, you've got the third hole again adjacent to you on the right, so plenty of room to miss off to the right there, for sure. Off to the left, there's just no reason to go that way. You've got kind of that dirt area, that kind of pine straw dirt area, with a whole bunch of trees to deal with off to the left, and there's just no reason to flirt with any of that. Even if all you got in the bag is a draw, for God's sake, just aim over at the third hole fairway there off to the right and then draw back in off of that and steer clear of those bushes. It's just no reason. So anyway, and then you've got those couple of bunkers there. That first one off to the right there is going to play more on the third hole than this hole. And then you've got that other bunker just to the left of that kind of bisects the 6th hole from the third. So, this is meant to be a narrow fairway, but because of the third hole, it's actually a huge fairway up there. Now, that said, so after the drive, it's going to shorten up on you quite a bit, or it's going to narrow up on you quite a bit, I should say, for the rest of the hole here. And that's like half of the rest of the hole. It's going to be a hotel hallway from there in. But that said, the only trees that you're going to have to worry about really that are playing on the hole are that collection of trees that you can see over there off to the right. If you do happen to get behind those, they're short enough to where they should be pretty easily clearable for most players. But and that's assuming that you stay far enough back from them, of course. So if you're concerned about getting right up on those trees off to the right there, then I might club down actually, just to make sure that you can miss to the right and not have to worry about those trees. But I mean, your call. Let's see here. After those trees, you've got another sneaky bunker just beyond them off to the right side of the fairway, and then another bunker about 40 yards or so down the fairway off to the left. And then as you make your way to the green, you've got a green side bunker kind of short of the green and off to the right, and then one that's directly off to the right side of the green, and then yet another one that's directly behind the green. So, excuse me, whole lot to unpack about this hole here. So anyway, I'm liking that I've got all this room to miss off to the right here, so I'm just going to grab out this big old D-stick and grip it and rip it and try to pipe it down there as far as I can and give myself some flavor of opportunity to try to get up on this hole into. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do.
Like straight down the middle and probably in the A slot, that's okay.
Anybody can play down the middle.
I mean, Alex, other than that, I mean, you know.
All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 7th hole. Unfortunate double bogey on that. Never love to see a double on a par 5, but hey, what can you do? At least I hit a good drive, right? That was nice. So just kind of blew up the rest of the hole. What are you going to do? So anyway, yeah, healthy par 3 here that we've got in front of us, and the final par 3 for this first part of this 2-part series out here at the Reserve. So, playing for us on 197 yards and tipping out at 235. So, yeah, very healthy indeed. And playing slightly uphill, too, just a wee bit. So, actually playing a little bit more than that. Probably more around like 205, 210, somewhere in that ballpark, which would put it from the tips at somewhere between 240 and 245. So, pretty monstrous from the tips there for how this hole actually plays. So anyway, that said, though, the yardage is pretty much all you have to worry about. I mean, you've got a fair amount of distance you can miss off to the left and right. I mean, you've got a day and a half to miss to the right. So that's nice. However, the chip up on the green will be a little more difficult, I would say, from the right, so long as if you miss left, that you steer clear of those trees. So anyway, there's that. And then you've got one bunker to worry about that's just shy of the fairway length grass, off to kind of the front right of the green as well. Definitely don't want to end up in that bunker. That's for sure. That's going to be one of those little weird, awkward kind of, you want to hit it like a greenside bunker shot, but it's really kind of too far to do it like that. So you kind of got to catch a little bit of the ball. I don't know. Weird. I hate those kinds of bunker shots. So my only goal here, stay out of that bunker at all costs and try to make this yardage. And of course, a par 3, so try to stab this green. So I have the 7-iron in hand. Let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 8th hole, and the healthiest of the par 4s that we've seen yet. Playing for us at 422 yards and tipping out at 487. Yeah, so pretty serious there. And, I mean, not a whole lot of room to miss either. I mean, you can miss left a bit and be fairly safe there. I mean, there is a healthy amount of trees over there off to the left, but I mean, they're kind of sparse enough to where you should be able to dodge most of them and have a fairly open shot for your second shot anyway. Off to the right, unless you absolutely pound one, I mean, you've got some real nasty tree action over there that's kind of piled up in some of that like dirt and pine straw sort of stuff. So definitely, I would say that the left is the better side miss on this hole for sure. So not good news for me, but I've got plenty of air clearance off to the left there to, kind of get over there and hit a cut. But yeah, I'm really not doing that anyway. I'm just kind of aiming straight down this fairway and trying to, pipe it. So once you do get about 2/3 of the way down this fairway there, you've got your first bunker trouble off to the right of the fairway. And then as you make your way towards the green, just about, 30, 40 yards short of the green or so, you've got your last bunker there off to the left side of the fairway. And then once you get up to the green, you've got no trouble except for the trees in the backdrop. So definitely don't fly this green either, which is kind of a reoccurring theme on this entire course. You really don't want to be long anywhere. So anyway, there's that. So anyway, got the driver in hand. Let's see if I can't smoke one down this fairway. Let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 9th hole. And of course, our final hole for this first part of this two-part series, playing the South Course out here at the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club in Aloha, Oregon. So thank you so much for watching another episode with us. And remember, if you're liking this content, please throw us a like and a subscribe. And get us up to that next 100 subscribers so that I can give away another hat. Yep, and after that, once we hit 1,000, I'm going to up the ante to something else like vests or maybe a rain jacket, maybe shirts, something like that. I'll probably put that out to like a vote for the subscribers then to see what you guys want me to give away after that. And then once we hit 10,000, I'm looking to give away golf bags. So yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm just going to keep giving away cooler and cooler stuff the more subs that we get. So smash that subscribe button and get me to give away more stuff. So, without further ado, this final hole here for this first part. Let's see here. Yeah, modestly healthy par 4 here, playing for us at 349 yards and tipping out at 413. So, that said, it's one of the more narrow holes that we've seen yet on the course here. So you really don't want to miss badly in either direction. Off to the right is going to be the heavier of the tree trouble that you would have to deal with than the left. However, there's plenty of tree level on the left still. But that said, the left has kind of more of that dirt and pine straw action going on there, and kind of just shaggy yellow grass. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough call to determine which side is the better side miss. I would say that from the left, however, you are more likely to have a clear shot onto the green in 2 than if you miss off to the right. So that's probably going to be my pick for where you would want to miss to. However, from the left side angle, you're going to have the one green side bunker that's off to the front left of the green there to contend with. You're going to have to hit right over it in order to get on the green in 2. So there's that. So anyway, pick your poison so far as the side that you prefer to miss to. So far as fairway bunkers are concerned, you've got one kind of small bunker off to the short and left of the fairway, just as the fairway kind of begins. And then about a third of the way down the fairway, you've got a rather large and lengthy bunker that crawls its way up the right side of the fairway. So, yeah, there's that too. That would be a real unfortunate shot out of that right side bunker, that's for sure. So, yeah, you know what? Thinking about it strategically here, definitely left is the better side miss, that's for sure. So, got the driver in hand. I've got plenty of air clearance there off to the left, so I'm just taking the left line and going after my little pretty cut here. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. And as always, I hope that you all have an absolutely marvelous day.